Hey everyone, welcome to 99.6 The Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. Rough week it has been. They had a win Monday in Edmonton, but man, these past 3 games, 3 straight losses for the Coyotes. Luckily, the first one in Calgary was in overtime, but 2 bad losses against Columbus and Minnesota at home in your own barn. And Coyotes, man, they're in trouble. They got to figure it out quick. Both of those games were very frustrating, hopeless games that the Coyotes probably should have won. Both games, they come out flying hot right out of the gate. Just amazing first periods, out shooting the opposition in both games. I mean, they looked amazing in the first period against Minnesota. Just so much flair and so much offense, and they were playing with swagger and so much confidence. I was like, this is going to be a blowout. It was 2-0 in the Minnesota game and 1-1 in the Columbus game. Yes, Columbus scored 14 seconds in, but I mean, that was the only thing Columbus had all period, that lucky goal to start the game. But since that first goal, Coyotes dominated the period. Came out 1-1 in the Columbus game, came out 2-0 in the Minnesota game. And then in the second period, in both games, they just come out flat with no energy. They get hemmed in their own zone for hilariously long periods of time. In the Columbus game, it was like 8 minutes of in their own zone. I believe they were caught on the same line for like 2+ minutes. Dead tired. Luckily, Kemper in the Columbus game shut it down. That they got out of that bad stretch and managed to get a goal from Jacob Chikrin to make it 2-1. And then in Minnesota, Minnesota was crawling back slowly and just getting more momentum more momentum as the game went on, and was just burying shot after shot. And all of Minnesota's goals, like every goal scorer, was just left alone to just either pick their shot or go around Kemper. The first goal, Koivu on the power play, so much time and space to just pick the corner on Kemper. And then Fiala's goal got behind the D. I think it was Goligoski. Got a rebound off Kemper's pads and just went around him. He was uncontested in the crease, which shouldn't happen. Dumba's goal just walked in from the blue line and slapped it. And then Hartman was left all alone in the slot and just received a nice one-timing pass and put it past Kemper. And yeah, I mean, those goals really shouldn't happen. Being left alone with so much time. Even though the Coyotes had Jordan Osterley back in the lineup, their defense strategy and game wasn't up to par. Really missing Jason Demers. Let me state that Jason Demers was missing both Columbus and Minnesota, both those games. So maybe that just shows how important Jason Demers is. I know we take him for granted. He's very good defensively, and he just doesn't get that praise. But yeah, he was really missed in these past 2 games. Coupled that with Nicholas Chalmerson. I mean, Nicholas Chalmerson, I didn't expect it to be such a big deal with him gone. But this team looks way different defensively without Chalmerson in this lineup. You can't have an AHL pairing with Ness and Lyubushkin in the NHL. I mean, that's why this team lost both games. And you can't have Ness and Lyubushkin, especially Lyubushkin. I think Ness is pretty good. Surprised actually that he was signed as a free agent. Leading goal scorer in the AHL last year. Pretty good pickup by Chaika. But yeah, we need Demers back. Hopefully he's back on this quick road trip to Washington, St. Louis, and Minnesota. I guess all 3 of those are close together geographically. I don't know who makes a schedule. But yeah, I mean, the Coyotes were scoreless in both those games in the third period. I mean, if you can't score a goal at home in the third period in 2 straight games, I mean, that's just a knife in the fan's heart. I mean, it's the third period. You're up 2-1 in the Columbus game. You're up, 3-1 or 3-2 in the Minnesota game, or tied. And you can't score, and then Minnesota scores in the third period, and Columbus scores in the third period, and you don't have an answer with the goalie pulled. It's just frustrating as a fan to watch. And I love the goals the Coyotes are scoring. Jacob Chikrin with goals in back-to-back games. I love Chikrin. This is his coming out party. This is the best hockey he's played in his career, and he's getting rewarded for it. 5 goals already. I don't know what his career high is. It might be 7, but he's already at 5. And Hinostroza with a beautiful goal against Devin Dubnyk. I mean, this guy takes a wrister from outside the circle on a rush and just top cheese through the defenseman's legs. That was an amazing goal, and just to see them lose that game was just so heartbreaking. They shouldn't have lost. I mean, Kemper, a couple of those goals maybe should have had. I mean, they're pretty much one-on-one shots that the player just takes their time and picks their spot, except the Hardman and Fiala goal. I feel like those are pretty goals that you can't really save. But the Koivu goal, Dumba, I feel like those are shots that it was one-on-one, Kemper and the player, and he probably should have had those goals. Wouldn't be surprised to see Ranta in against Washington. Not saying Kemper's bad. I'm just saying maybe, give him some rest. Back-to-back games with 3 goals allowed. Minnesota 4 goals allowed. So we'll see. Just frustrating games, especially home games, that they should have won against weak teams that are below them in the standings. And now they got Washington and St. Louis. So I don't know about that. They got to get some points here. They're losing traction quickly. I think they're out of the top 3 in the Pacific. But they're still there in the pack. I mean, a bunch of these Pacific teams have been losing. Vegas, I think, lost to Washington last night, Saturday night. So, I mean, every team's going to have their skids, and this is one of the Coyotes' first skids. I mean, the first one was their first 2 games of the season, and then they were pretty good. Didn't really have back-to-back losses. Yeah, don't really think they had any. And then now they got 3 games in a row that they've lost. They got to pick it up, get healthy. Brad Richardson came back. That means Barrett Hayden was scratched. Tocchet juggling the lines. Keller, Garland, and Stepan. And then Kessel, Dvorak, Schmaltz. The lines are fine. I'm not worried about the forward line. It's just they turtle and become too defensive when they get leads. They got to get out of that mentality. I don't know if it's the other team catching the Lyubushkin and Ness line tired and then getting momentum off that, or if it's too much penalties. That was the case in Columbus and Calgary, too many penalties. Minnesota felt like they were pretty disciplined. But, the lines are all right. Brad Richardson seemed a bit slow, but it's his first game back. So, we'll see. They got 3 games on the road. They got to pick up wins, got to pick up points, get it going, know that they're doing bad, and they got to improve. They need Jason Demers back, and just get it rolling. So let's see what happens. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support.